With legal expert Will Bruzzo. Will, thanks for being with us here. This is such an interesting piece of legislation because there's a lot of factors involved, not only members of Congress, the Department of Transportation, but the airlines, the unions, and passengers themselves. What, I guess, legal recourse do passengers have if they, happen to fall on this list list that is in question right now?
So this is nothing new. After 9/11, of course, we had a no-fly list. These were people suspected of terrorist links, and so they were barred from flying. So the fact that they're now putting together a list of folks who are not terrorists, but who may represent a danger to passengers, I don't think it's groundbreaking. Everyone has to remember that flying is not a right. Flying in an airline is not a right. It is a privilege, and you can be barred from using an airline carrier if they don't want to admit you. It's like no shoes, no shirt, no service kind of thing. So they're private; they can bar you. So this is nothing new. And as you heard the senator mention, there's even folks who are mentally ill, perhaps, who are trying to open the door of an airplane while it's in flight. I mean, obviously, incredibly dangerous, and these two congressmen don't want passengers to have to go through this sort of stress when they're flying.
Yeah, and let's get into the particulars of what this bill would do. They would be placed on a no-fly list. The convicted passengers would also permanently be banned from participating in pre-check or global entry. So they would first be given a notice from TSA. They would have an opportunity to appeal, but this could result in civil penalties rather. This could also result in criminal prosecutions, I guess, depending on the kind of egregious conduct on the flight itself. But if you're a passenger who is maybe subject to this, who needs to hire a lawyer, who had some type of outburst, they're potentially facing fines. They're potentially facing criminal prosecution. What would you tell them?
Well, number one, don't act up on a flight. Listen, if you have a driver's license and your vehicle is used to assault someone in the state of California, you can lose your license for the rest of your life, your driving license. So it is not groundbreaking in any way to say that, well, if you act up on an airplane, you can essentially be barred from flying. It's not something that they can just arbitrarily hand down. The person who's on the no-fly list has the right to appeal. They can contest it. There are a series of things they can do in order to be reinstated or to fight the ban. But ultimately, whether it's the Department of Motor Vehicles in your state or an airline or the FAA, they have the right to, they have to do what they can to protect the lives of passengers, just like, a DMV would have the right to protect other drivers. So this to me does seem like a reasonable type law, and especially given that there's been a threefold increase in the number of air rage incidents on airlines.
So, Will, what you're saying just lastly is that essentially, just because this happens in the skies, you will be subject to any laws that are in place on the ground for that matter.
Absolutely. I think what applies to you in your vehicle can apply to you in the air. And the Ninth Circuit actually talked about the fact that this flying is not a right. It is a privilege, just like having a driver's license is a privilege, and it can be taken away from you if there's misconduct.
All right, Will Bruzzo, as always, thanks so much for your insight into this. This is a very kind of creative piece of legislation. We'll follow it and see where it goes.
Thank you.